Alright, so let's say that I had to start over fresh today. No previous investments. And I just had $10,000 sitting in a bank account ready to be invested. And I want to invest this in a way that'll make me the most amount of money in the easiest way possible. I want to show you how, because I think if you have some extra money laying around, you should absolutely be investing it in a way that maximizes your growth. Otherwise, you're just letting money sit while inflation slowly eats away at it. So with that said, this is a video if you're actually looking to start building real wealth, not just putting most of your money into boring investments like the S&P or playing roulette with meme stocks. Now, obviously this isn't financial advice, but I'll show you exactly how I'd allocate that money based on how I think about asymmetric upside, long-term tech trends, and what I like to call founder-led conviction bets. So let's get right into it. First off, I'd take about $3,000, roughly 30%, and put it into Bitcoin. Why exactly? Well, because I believe Bitcoin is the future of decentralized finance and is most likely going to continue to grow substantially over the next decades and become much less volatile over time. And Bitcoin's digital scarcity is my hedge against fiat debasement and old legacy financial systems. Next, I'd take $6,000, or 60%, and build out a conviction allocation. And this is where the real growth comes in. I'd pick about 3 or so high upside technology stocks that I'm willing to hold for years, even if they go down 50% in the short term. For me personally, that would be Palantir, because I believe it's the backbone of artificial intelligence for defense and enterprise. They have contracts, the vision, and the founder that'll push the company forward. So my next company would be IonQ, the quantum computing company. And yes, this is a volatile stock, but the quantum computing edge here is asymmetric. The total addressable market is decades out, but I'm early on purpose, because I believe this industry is just getting started. And then my last investment here would be into Tesla, which is obviously a forward-thinking company that still has huge potential with their autonomous taxi network and humanoid robots. Ultimately though, this is where I want visionary leadership, optionality, and the potential for some huge outcomes. I'm not looking at these as trades. For me, they're long-term holds that could anywhere from 5x to 20x in the future if I'm right, or they could fizzle out if I'm wrong. But those are just the risks you take in the stock market. And that's also where your own research should come in, because I assure you, there's a ton of companies out there right now that people are overlooking that will grow tremendously in the future. Alright, so we've invested $3,000 into crypto and $6,000 into high conviction stocks, and that leaves $1,000. Which I'm going to be investing in the speculative allocation. And this is where I'd put my money in bleeding edge speculative companies that maybe aren't even profitable yet. Maybe a penny stock in robotics or biotech that's caught your eye, or even an early startup where you see some future potential. Now, this allocation is completely optional, but I think it'll help keep the curiosity alive. And since it's such a small allocation, it's okay if your speculations don't turn out the way you expected. Personally, it forces me to keep researching, stay sharp, and have some fun without risking my entire portfolio. Now, here's the key. Even with just $10,000, I'm not spreading it across 15 positions. I want concentrated bets where I actually understand the story, and where I have conviction. And yeah, I'd still be dollar cost averaging in some of these over the next few months where appropriate, or I might even lump sum into companies that make sense. But the key here is to have a framework that you can follow, and not just rely on the news cycle to tell you when it's okay to buy. So if I were starting today, I wouldn't focus on being diversified, I'd focus on being intentional. I'd build a portfolio around ideas I'm willing to suffer for, or at the very least that I'm willing to defend, because every great investment will test you before it actually pays you. So yeah, I know 10K isn't life-changing or anything, at least not yet, but the process you build around that money absolutely is. It helps to set the tone for everything else you do with your capital. Anyway, if you want to go deeper into how I evaluate these companies, and how I filter out the noise from actual conviction, check out this video I did on the 3 rules I use before buying any stock. It'll help you avoid a ton of mistakes. Anyway, I appreciate you watching if you made it to the end, and I'll catch you next time.